Order, it is 6:54 p.m. Would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Bear, we have a second by Kraus. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I've handed out minutes from the March 19th meeting, if anybody needs a copy of those. I do have a couple extras up here.
The motion to approve the minutes from the March meeting.
Motion by Daggs,
Second.
second by Dunn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, motion carries. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Sorry, it's
Been a long day, yeah.
Oh, man, it's been a long day. Item number 4, Alert Iowa presentation. We have Jensen Connor, I'm sorry, I got that on
I
there
will
wrong.
respond to either way, yeah. Connor Jensen, Jensen Connor. My
From
parents,
Homeland.
parents hated me. So yeah, Dave asked me to come up today. I am the program manager for Alert Iowa, also known as WENS. WENS is the system that the state purchased or entered a contract with about 5 years ago. It's a statewide contract, so if you guys do make the decision to come on board, the program is free of cost. I will assist your emergency management coordinator in getting signed up for that. Is that, yeah?
James, can
we
you
go
use-
that route?
Finagle that, you think, or?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Won't shut it down.
Real quick, while they're doing that, this is probably 2 meetings ago when I approached the board about that, or the commission about the Alert Iowa, and we asked that Jensen come up and kind of tell us what he can and can't do. I said earlier that one person invited somebody, but this was a commission decision here a couple months ago. And
I thought you were talking directly about me.
I know, I wouldn't do that to you.
So yeah, the system, I have a short presentation. I'll breeze through it just so we can be brief and then field any questions from you guys. But the system itself has been in place in the state for about 5 years. Just so you guys are aware, that contract actually ends July of this year. And it does look like the state will be renewing that for another year going forward. At that point in time, it is possible that we will look at a different vendor. But that should not have any impact on your decision to move forward with this or not. Any of those moves or changes in vendor would be seamless and done at the state level. So the system is not perfect. We've had our hiccups along the way, but the fortunate thing for you guys, if you do decide to come on now, after 5 years, we've kind of ironed some of those things out. Like I said, we will work with you to get all these things squared away. We will work with the emergency management coordinator to get all the paperwork signed that's needed. The WENS system, when I talk about WENS messaging, what I'm talking about is voice, SMS, and email to the public, right? So this would be an opt-in. What we do is we establish a web page that can be hosted on our site along with any other sites that you guys want. That allows citizens to go out and say, I want to receive these messages for certain types of things, right? So you can choose, and this is completely flexible on how you set this up. It can be at the community level. So you can say, I live in Eldora. I only want to receive alerts for Eldora. Great. You can receive weather alerts. We can just set up alerts for special needs populations, all those types of things. And what that does is the system compiles those users into groups that you can then, as an admin, whoever's going to be issuing these alerts can go select that particular group and trigger a message to them, again, via that SMS, email, text, whatever their preferred method is. On top of that type of WENS messaging, once you have the WENS system, WENS acts as an IPAWS certified origination software. IPAWS is the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System. That is what can trigger WIA messages. So WIA messages are wireless emergency alerts. Those are not opt-in, those are opt-out, right? So if you guys remember, I don't know, maybe a year ago now, it was Hawaii. They sent off the ballistic missile message. That's what a WIA is. That went to everybody in the state. It's a big no-no. With the right training and everything, that won't happen on this system for you guys. But once you have that, I do encourage folks to also go through the setup and the application process through FEMA IPAWS offices to get that capability as well. Because it takes time to get the public interested in this and signed up, right? So you have some downtime, and you're also not gonna get everybody. So if you have those certain types of emergencies that are, you know, very critical and everyone needs to know about them, pretty much everyone has one of these cell phones, and you can trigger them within a geographical region. So that having that capability on top of your standard SMS, text, email messages, I think is a big plus to the system. I mentioned it's free to use. I will, as the program manager, assist with any training needs. So it's not all on the EMA. You can delegate administrative permissions to whoever, and you can be very specific about what capabilities they have within there, right? So if you only want them to be able to maintain users, that can be accomplished. If they can only send messages to specific groups, you have that level of detail of control over who is actually sending the message. The system is completely web-based. It has, the company has 3 separate, well, clusters of servers, Texas, California, and Ohio, I believe. You know, I've been with the program for the last 2 years, and we've only seen one outage, and that particular outage only occurred for SMS. So it does, you know, try to hold itself to that 99% uptime. That being said, if you have an internet outage here, that can be an issue. So keep in mind that yes, with this all being web-based, we all think the internet works all the time. We know that's not the case. It can also, there are some fixes to that, right? You can always call me or another member of our group within Homeland to trigger those messages for you. As admins, I have the ability to send a message to any account anywhere in the state. So you send me a note, I say, yep, I'll trigger this out for you. So we kind of become a partner with you in that. And another administrator that can trigger those messages in those instances. Some examples of messages that we've used for the public. Boil orders are always big, right? So hey, don't drink the water. You can give them some additional information. Come to the courthouse to pick up your information packet or your bottled water. There are, with the WIA side of things, and I don't want to dwell on it too much because there's a specific training that FEMA makes you go through for that. There are certain criteria for messages that you must meet. So an Amber Alert is one thing that would fall in that. Typically Amber Alerts are statewide, so again, not a huge deal, but if you had maybe a local law enforcement issue, maybe there is a hostage situation in a particular house and you needed to make the neighborhood aware, that would be an instance where you could trigger a WIA alert along with any of your WENS messaging. I have no idea where I'm at in the presentation, but if you want to go ahead and skip forward.
Keep it in space.
Yeah, hold here real quick, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So yeah, statewide mass notification program, it is defined by 29C 17A, so this is in Iowa code. We get money from the legislature every year to pay for this system, and that's why there's no cost at the local level. What we were seeing is a wide variety of vendors in the space, and we go county to county, and they all have something different, and it was incredibly expensive for the population that we were seeing that were actually being sent out the messages. So the idea was to have something that was a little bit more cost effective. We thought we could do that at the state level and dish it out. And so far that's been more or less true. I have a couple maps here. If you keep going, the another one, keep going forward. Yeah, so we have 88 right now. Put you guys in progress. I hope that's not too presumptive on my part. But you know, we do have pretty good buy-in across the county. So if you want to reach out to anybody else that's green on that county and say, hey, what's up with this system? How does it work for you guys? Feel free to do that. Like I said, we have had issues in the past, but a lot of those have been ironed out. I think we're making progress with it. Go ahead and move on to the next one. So yeah, we do have reverse 911 data that is available. That would be landline only though. So once you get into the system, yeah, we're gonna have a good chunk of your population, but again, being landline only, you're limited in what you can send. And you want to be careful, especially with NOAA alerts for wide areas, because you can really slow down the call handling software or of your dispatches going for your landlines really quickly by doing that. So we always kind of say, if you can do SMS, that's the preferred method for certain types of alerts. Some more examples there. I said boil alerts already, but road closures, weather alerts are probably our most popular. And then internal messaging as well. I did not talk about this. So you can use this for your COOP-COG, so continuity of operations, continuity of government. You can put, members of the fire department in here, say, hey, we have a training going on, just a quick way to ping everybody without doing it, basically replacing your call tree. EOC activation is another good example. Go ahead on, please. This would be the number of counties that we have signed up for the iPods. So you can see it's a lower number. That is because the application process is a bit convoluted. But again, I do encourage all counties that are signing up for Alert Iowa to also go through the iPods application process. Go ahead. Here's some of those examples for iPods. So if you look at those non-weather ones, I mentioned the Amber Alerts, civil danger, law enforcement warnings, 911 telephone outages. I don't think you guys are within any of the radiuses for the nuclear power plants, but you get the idea for that elevated type of life safety, anything like that. Otherwise, we have to deal with the FCC.
How liberal are you? I say we have a dementia or Alzheimer's type situation where somebody walks off.
Yep.
Is that somewhere we could put out to that community, be on the lookout for?
For the WENS messaging, absolutely. We're very, very lenient with that. You can use that how you want. The things I would say is, we try to avoid things like, oh, we're having a bake sale here. We've seen it. You name it, we've seen it. So those things we try to limit because our contract with the vendor does state that. But again, with some of the smaller communities that, it's not even a blip on this vendor's radar, so it's really never been an issue. With the WIA messaging, it has to meet the criteria of those, and that is a major issue if it's not, because then we're looking at a Hawaii incident where these things come up. So we do have to be very careful with those, and it's also worth noting that there's a lot of change right now within the WIA community. They're changing the criteria. We're seeing new event codes be created. So there's a new one this year that came out. It's called Blue Alert. It's for an officer down. If they lost communication with an officer where they know he's entering a dangerous situation, they can trigger a message in that area to the community members, shelter in place, those types of things. So it's always changing, but yeah. Yeah, move on from that one. This is the iPods architecture. Again, don't stress too much on this. We're really focused on that lower left-hand corner. That is the iPods compliant origination tool. That is Alert Iowa in this instance. So having Alert Iowa gets you onto the backbone that is the iPods open system. From that, you can get into a whole realm of integrating your EAS messaging coming out of this platform. I'm sure you guys already have your communications plan set up for that, so I won't bore you with that, but know that it's there and possible with this tool. I think that might be the last slide. Yeah. Again, Jensen, Connor, any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I would say I'm even more responsive than Blake, but it's just me. So if you guys have any questions on it, let me know. It's obviously completely up to your group to decide whether or not you want to use it. The onboarding process is pretty painless, and I will make it as fast as possible to get you guys up and running. We also have some money set aside for marketing materials, so we can do things like business cards with QR codes to help the public, reach the website. Again, putting things out on social media is huge. Getting folks to click on that and actually sign up is a big, big part of this, because if you don't have people signed up, then who are you sending your messages to? Any questions regarding Alert Iowa mass notification within the county, state?
So,
Go ahead, Pat.
so does the county have to accept it before a community can accept it?
Yes, yeah, we do look for the EM, the emergency manager within the county, to
Okay.
be the admin for that.
Okay.
Once that's established though, we often see a lot of the smaller communities come in and say, hey, we wanna use this for our coop cog, we wanna use it internally. Or if they wanna delegate permissions to them, again, they can do that. Because it is a lot, it's extra work to take on for the EM. They have to say, okay, I wanna hand off this. You can now alert for your community if you want to.
Okay.
Are you seeing a lot of, I mean, the counties that, obviously, there's far more that have that, and that haven't signed up, are they, getting a lot of usage out of it? I mean, it's free, so it doesn't really.
Right, we see a wide variety. Some counties are really gung ho about it. It's part of their almost daily operation, right? So they're using it for their fire, for their police. And then others, we don't see hardly anything. They signed up and then they triggered, they set up the webpage, they set up their weather alerts, and then never did anything more with it. And that's completely fine too. It's not the preferred method, but it's definitely something you can do. Any other questions? Thanks.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We don't have on the agenda, take any action on this Alert Iowa. Would there be interest in having that put on next month's agenda to discuss and take action if the commission would so desire?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Item number 5, before we get into the closed session, we're obviously in the process of hiring an EMA or did applications, have completed interviews. We had 5 that were gonna be interviewed, 1 backed out just a few days prior to the interviews taking place. So we ended up with 4. With that, 3 of the 4 have asked that be discussed in closed session, 1 did not, so heaven forbid it be easy. So do we wanna go into closed session, discuss the 3, come out of this closed session and discuss the 4th, or would you prefer to discuss the applicant that didn't want closed session and then go into closed session?
Option 2.
Yeah.
Last option, yeah.
Discuss and then go into closed?
Sure.
Okay. What we did, because obviously some of, I don't want to say internal conflict, but because we had people involved in our commission that applied for the positions. We got a panel of 3 individuals. One was a executive board member from the Iowa Firefighters Association. One is the chief deputy from Blackhawk County Sheriff's Office, and one was an auditor from Bremer County. So we tried to get, they were incredibly objective. They gave us a lot of insight. They did not have a unanimous decision on who to hire. They had a unanimous on who they would not. But so we're, other than the unanimous not, we're a little bit across the board on the applicants. The individual that we'll discuss first that didn't want closed session, very good background, not currently operating in that capacity, but does have fire EMS background, grant writing experience, very enthusiastic and passionate. We did them on a scoring system, and out of 50 possible points, this particular candidate scored low, more so because geographically he's nowhere near where we're at. He has no ties really to the area. That being said, it doesn't mean he would necessarily be a bad candidate, but he definitely has interest of being at the state or federal level within probably the next 5 years. And according to that panel, probably has the ability to be at the next level. They were very adamant that he hasn't, not even close to his potential or his ceiling. But their biggest concern is we would certainly be a stepping stone in their opinion. Does it have the qualifications or certifications yet? Obviously, you know, there'd have to be, that would have to be invested into the individual. But their concern was it'd be an investment probably with very little return on that investment, just because of no ties to Hardin County, let alone really the state of Iowa for that matter. So,
Is this the one that they agreed on they would not hire?
no.
Okay.
No, this is one that they're like, you know, good candidate, however, you know, the cons were within 5 years, he told them he'd like to be at the state or federal level, that's his goal.
It's not a bad thing.
Nope, absolutely not. And no EMA experience, no ties to, like I said, Hardin County, let alone Iowa, really. He was an Iowa State grad. But that's really the only connect, yeah, I don't, so we can't hold that against him, unfortunately. I see there's a couple Iowa State shirts in here, but, you know, we don't accept the sympathy votes, so. But, you know, it's just one of those, the other thing that they commented on is if we were a current well-oiled machine, as an emergency management, you know, if we were there, it would be one thing. We're really looking to have somebody come in and build this. As you well know, I haven't knocked it out of the park for you since July 1st, but the ship is still somewhat on course. We've hit a few ripples. But the challenge for this individual, or any individual, is going to be building a program. And I think to the citizens of Hardin County, that's what our forethought kind of needs to be, of getting to that level where we're a smooth operating emergency management agency, and we're not there. And unfortunately, they mentioned that would, to some degree, probably set a couple of these candidates up for failure, because we would be tasking them with a lot. While this particular candidate has a ton of potential, we'd almost be throwing somebody to the wolves that has no experience. So, I don't know if you have any questions. I met them briefly. I didn't discuss the applicants with the panel prior to. Didn't discuss with the applicants who the panel was. So it was, I think, as objective as we possibly could have been. You know, I didn't sway anybody's opinions prior to. I didn't sway them afterwards. I took their feedback, but didn't agree or disagree with comments that they made about any of the applicants.
Was there any pre-selection of the applicants who were then interviewed by the panel, or did the panel go through the entire list?
No. As the commission, and that was brought up, I think, at the last meeting, since I've been doing it since July, they're kind of like you know, kind of would know what you're looking at. We had 10 applicants. I narrowed it down to 5 based on background qualifications, incomplete or complete applications. You know, so I'm confident and comfortable that the 5 I presented to the panel initially were certainly the best 5 that we had to present. There was a couple that applied that had, 0 in any way, shape, or form.
You sent information to all of us too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm comfortable and confident that the top 5 were certainly put forward to the panel. And unfortunately, just a couple days before, one of them chose to back out because of their current position. Must have made them better off when they found out they were looking elsewhere. Maybe. So, any further discussion on this, or? I mean, it's kind of awkward till we can really get maybe a little bit deeper into things, but. Now I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I so move.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Newgard, second by Dunn, all in favor, say aye.
Before you vote,
We're not voting yet, but go ahead, please, county attorney.
voting on the,
Oh, okay,
Motion to
voting
go
on
into
closed
closed
session,
session.
yes.
just so that the record reflects, you're going in under 21.5, sub 1, sub I.
Yes, correct.
Okay, very
Yep,
good.
Iowa code 21.5, sub 1, sub I. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, so at this point, we'll need, James, are you good on the,
We are back and open. Yep.
I move we extend an offer to Thomas Creighton for the position at the salary of $50,000.
Second. We have a motion by Dunn. Second by Kraus.
You didn't.
Okay. The motion was by Mayor Dunn to extend an offer to Mr. Thomas Creighton for the EMA position, seconded by Kraus. Any further discussion?
You had a dollar amount on it.
Yeah, the 50,000.
At a starting wage of $50,000.
Prorated for the current year and then at that level going
That would
forward.
be starting the fiscal
Yeah.
1920 budget.
With 180 days to move to the county.
Any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Ackley,
Yes.
Walden,
Yes.
Buckeyes not here, Hubbard's not here, New Providence,
Yes.
Wawasa,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Steamboat's not here, Union's not here, Witten,
Yeah.
Iowa Falls,
Yes.
Hardin County,
Yes.
Eldora.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Any further discussion? All right, public comment. Any public comment on anything? Next meeting date, May, yes, sir. Did you have a public comment?
May I comment? Sure. Of course.
All right, if this is how it's gonna
Are
start.
you gonna turn it Are you gonna turn it down?
I was gonna say, it better not be no thanks.
Well, and we will extend the offer, but I think, we can visit if you so desire, or whatever floats your boat.
Well, do you want to do it? There's a couple of things that I want to ask about the offer, is the reason. So,
And I don't know if you want, that's your call, if you want to do it here in this setting, or if you want to meet with me individually, or whatever works for you, does it?
it's however your commission wants to do it. It's a couple of discussion items about vacation and the benefit part of it.
Time to do it.
I'm fine with doing it here. I'm not-
Do you want us to remain an open format for that? Okay.
I think we only have one outside person here, don't we? The paper.
But he's got one you gotta watch. Just kidding, man.
So, I've talked to Dave a little bit about this as we, first of all, thank you for the offer, and I accept. My wife and I have talked about this is my wife Dawn. We've talked about this for several months, and we've talked about if you offered the position, we'd take the position. So, that said, the questions that I had for Dave were that I have to give a 30-day notice, and I've looked at that. It's about the end of May, kind of that last week of May, so I'd really like to make that a 30-day notice so that it fits the pay period. It's really a lot cleaner for everybody if it just, I start in the middle or start at a pay period and do that. So that's one request. It may be 30 or 32. whatever.
What day would you be starting on? And I ask this for insurance
I
reasons.
was about to say, yeah, I wanna make sure that we don't have a gap in his current
If you start
coverage
on
to
the
his new
first, you gotta
coverage.
wait a full month. If you start on the 30th, you start on the 1st.
Okay.
So.
So,
Planning on tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
I was kind of hoping tomorrow.
Now, wait a minute, I already been helping you.
I know.
But he should still have his old insurance, cause you pay that for it too.
I don't know how they do that one on theirs. You
I
should.
assume.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Right, you should be covered through your Franklin County insurance though for,
30 days.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because it's paid forward.
Okay.
So if I write this is payday, this is payday,
Our paid is this Friday, right? Yes.
this is 15th.
24th would be the end of the payment.
So it would be, technically it would be the 26th, the Sunday, the 26th, that Memorial Day weekend.
Of May, yep.
So if that's okay. And then the other question I asked Dave was about vacation and sick time, because I have all of my sick time built up there, and I'm gonna be starting at 0, and I'm an old man. So you never know what happens, and sometimes I'm kinda klutzy. I fall and break shoulders that take me 6 weeks to get over, so.
Oh, sure, now you.
So not, yeah, I was gonna say, now that they'll be like, thanks for the number.
And then the
Joseph
other
said
question was,
accept
because,
first.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You said accept first before you said.
The other is, so, even if I could just get a week's worth of sick pay and a week of vacation or a 2-week vacation, because with the move, with having to move into the county and look at property and all of that stuff, that would help me on that side of it. I really don't wanna take a vacation and sick days in the middle of a 30-day notice to Franklin County. That, to me, that would look pretty poor if I took vacation in the last, took all my vacation in the last 30 days of the time that I'm there. So that's the question I would have
What's the
for you.
Taylor, how do you do it at the engineers?
What do you mean?
Cemetery roads.
2 weeks of vacation?
I'd be a hypocrite, you guys gave me 2 weeks when I started, so I'd be a hypocrite if I said I didn't
Won't
like
be
it.
there, huh? What did we do with you?
You gave me 80 hours of vacation. Started 0 at sick, but I had 2 weeks of something. And I thought that was pretty fair. Because you're probably giving up a lot, you're probably maxed out up there too, aren't
But you
you?
were also negotiating a contract coming in.
That's true, I'm on a contract.
He's not, he would be coming in under the handbook.
Which we accrue for every day.
Well, his max vacation is 40 hours there.
I would say that's a Galloway question before we answer any of it.
And I can touch base with him tomorrow if that works for you, Thomas.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Being
That's
a
the
separate
only.
commission, I don't know if we could accept the handbook.
That's true, we're our own
Yeah,
municipality,
that's
so we
true.
don't technically.
Oh, well, then I can shut up.
Yeah.
Consider it done.
We're going rogue on you.
But I would still try to keep
I
status
would-
quo.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly, I don't wanna go, because I'm guessing that the commission already has said that the EMA is under the county handbook as far as personnel policies, insurance, yada, yada, yada.
Yes, there's
But-
just a caveat of being our own separate
Yes,
municipality.
so you can do something
Right,
differently.
but we've always fallen under the parameters of the county handbook simply for.
Yeah, and that's what we do
Continuity
too, but in
and-
several cases, we've had to kind of
But
slide
I'll
outside.
I can touch base with Galloway first thing in the morning and get his professional
So,
input.
look forward to working with you. I've already been working for the last 8 months, 9 months, probably close. And have built some good relationships and look forward to coming in and helping build your program up.
If all else fails, could that be time used as building up?
I don't, in my opinion, I wouldn't be opposed to that, because he was not compensated for any of the help that he's provided to Hardin County since July 1st.
Or Franklin County has not been compensated?
Correct.
Right.
So, I think that would be a valid argument if there was any potential issue.
And Franklin County, is there a payout?
I think my vacation might be paid out. I think so. I think they have to pay vacation,
your
but they
vacation
don't.
is
But
okay.
not-
But the sick time doesn't get, yeah, that's just written off.
Okay.
But what I'm looking at is I don't wanna run into a point where if I take 3 or 4 or 5 days off to get moved in, get all that done, then that throws me into that spot where I might have to reimburse the county for the insurance while I'm off on a non-paid thing. I guess I need to be, I am gonna be that guy. You're gonna find that out.
I'd like you to bring the wife to every meeting, because I want to do a facial.
She's not allowed at my meeting. That being said, I don't know if my application actually really explained, and if you guys got an opportunity to discuss that, what my responsibilities are right now, because I am currently first vice president, and in July will become president of the state EMA association, and so that takes up time. I currently, and this is a discussion item, but I currently teach for Homeland Security in ICS 300 and 400, and those are 2 to 3 day classes. They reimburse the county for the hotel and food. And since, well, it's a little different right now because you're not getting the MPG money, but as I am up there, I can't collect money from, I can't take vacation. The county can't collect money from them for my time. So, because federal dollars are already paying for that. I also go on weekends and teach for the Fire Service Training Bureau on a Saturday or a Sunday, sometimes a whole weekend, but I'm always on call to come back. And then, I think that's about it. The Iowa Society of Fire Service Instructors, I'm also their chair for 2 years.
And we kind of discussed that, going in, I mean, that involvement at the state level, to me, is a benefit.
Yeah.
On that networking and those contacts and that, so I mean, I don't look at that necessarily as a downside.
It's gravy.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm involved at the state level in several different committees and boards,
Yeah,
and,
Matt.
I think it benefits, it benefits
Yeah.
you know, the citizens, it benefits our commission, so.
He wanted you in there. Dave,
Yes.
Is this an exempt or non-exempt position?
Exempt, I believe. I have to look
Yeah,
it
it's
up, but
exempt. There's
exempt.
no
Overtime,
no overtime, no count time.
Comes with the job.
Yeah.
Chief Harkin raised a good question. When I talk to Mike Galloway tomorrow, and if he says, hey, if the commission says a week vacation, the day he starts, or 2 weeks, do we have, you know, is there,
Make the decision now.
make the decision now so we don't have to meet again prior, well, we'll meet prior to that anyway, right, in that timeframe, but do we want to make the decision now so I can tell Thomas tomorrow afternoon what?
I think we should just go with like the 2 weeks, because he's actually, if you think about it, been working for us for 9 months anyway.
Right.
So he's got almost a year of time in. So,
So pending Galloway's
Yeah.
interpretation or input, and then I will let you know.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for.
Two times, yeah.
Thanks.
Pat, could you do that in the form of a motion, please?
oh, I make a motion that we offer, upon approval, we offer Tom Creighton 2 weeks of vacation at the time of start date.
Second by Kraus. Motion by Dag, second by Kraus. Any further discussion?
Is there anything on sick or just focusing on vacation?
Yeah, if the auditor's office has a problem with the 80 vacation, I'd just suggest 40 sick, 40 vacation. 2 weeks is something.
How does the county pay period work? Is it every month on certain dates, or is it like every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
So do we know when, do we figure out when he needs to start then? Or is that gonna depend on?
Yeah, he said that last weekend of May.
Last weekend of May.
Are your pay periods the same as mine?
Ours
I
is
get paid
Friday.
Today,
Oh, Friday's our payday, but it's this week.
so it's,
You get
yeah,
paid
you're
on
off.
Tuesday?
Huh?
You get paid on a Tuesday?
My pay period ended on Saturday.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
It just goes.
And ours ends
So
on a Friday.
Probably May 26th will be about.
Yeah,
That's-
Okay.
I'll still make.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in
Do you want
favor?
me to change that and add sick time? Or not?
I think it's
However, yeah.
80 hours of something.
Yeah, do it in the form of 80 hours.
Okay, I make a motion that we offer Tom Creighton 80 hours to use for sick or vacation at the time of start.
Motion by Kraus, motion by Dag, second by Kraus. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next meeting date, May 21st, immediately following 911 Service Board.
Motion.
Do we have a second? Motion by Kraus,
Second.
second by Dags. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn. So moved. Motion by Fiskus, second.
Second.
Second by Newgard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.